said something stupid in an interview. Someone asked me, what do I think about the word scrimmage wrestling? And I said, I think, they said, what do you think about Gordon Ryan saying scrimmage wrestling? And I said, I think Gordon's weird for saying scrimmage wrestling. And I didn't think it was an insult. I thought, okay, I'm like using the word weird loosely.
Joining us now is the 3-time NAIA wrestling national champion, Brandon Reed, and he is going to be making his CJI 2 under the Daisy Fresh banner. What's it like? The last time I've seen you, Brandon, you were medaling at the ADCC trials, and now you're getting to compete on what I'm assuming is going to be the biggest payday competition that you've experienced so far in your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah, by far. It's super exciting. I'm super grateful. Just giving my flowers to Heath because there were other great options. And I started training with Daisy Fresh a bit ago, and they're like family. So I'm really happy that I was given the opportunity, and I love competing. So I just kind of say yes to any big opportunities.
It's so amazing to hear about Daisy Fresh's story, people sleeping in the laundromat and then it growing to where it is today. But where did you get to know Daisy Fresh? Like, how did your relationship with them begin?
Yeah, so it's like an odd story, but I had a match with Pixley in 2021, and he guillotined me in like 10 seconds at Nogi Worlds. And then that's kind of how I got to start to know everyone. Because you know how it is. It's like you kind of just start talking to people. At first, I was a bit pissed because I got submitted really fast against Pixley. But then, we all became friends. And then eventually it just kind of worked out to where we were just talking. And I kept saying I was going to come. And I was like, okay, eventually I did. I just came. I stayed at Pixley's house for a week just to see if I liked it. And I fell in love with it. And I just love everyone there. They feel like family. I've trained at a lot of places. Like for ADCC trials, I trained at JT's. I love JT. He's like family to me too. It was just that like it felt how I felt when people asked me like why I chose Daisy Fresh. It felt like I was back on like a college wrestling team. And so yeah, that's why. And then I live in Montreal still, obviously, but whenever I go do training camps, I always go out to Daisy Fresh. Now it'd be like, for ADCC, it was for like 8 weeks. Worlds, I went for a couple weeks. So I'm always back and forth between Montreal and Daisy Fresh.
Yeah, that's definitely the story also with Dante and Max Hanson kind of driving back and forth across the border to make things work. So that's so awesome that you found your fit with Daisy Fresh. And I think it's super interesting that you're coming in with the wrestling background that you do, because I feel like that's a big narrative for CJI too, especially with the super fight with Gable Steveson versus Craig Jones. So when you're thinking about your wrestling background and kind of the way wrestlers get put up against jiu-jitsu guys, how confident do you feel like your wrestling style is going to translate well inside the pit for this kind of submission-only quintet CJI hybrid rule set?
I think it should be pretty good. You know, I've competed a lot in jiu-jitsu. I competed a lot this year. I have like 20, 21 or something matches this year. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while now, and my wrestling has definitely changed a lot. It's become a lot more efficient. Specifically in prep for ADCC, it became a lot more efficient, particularly like learning how to control the back, ride, and then obviously take the back and stuff. And so for me, the pit wall doesn't really change too much. Actually, I like it because 90% of the time people get away with being like worse wrestlers because they just walk out of bounds. It happens all the time. You know, I'm not even saying it just because I'm doing CJI. It's the reality of it. Is like I will try, like people will stay standing with me and then they'll just walk backwards the whole time and kind of like grab my fingers. And I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good, really good for me. Sorry. Especially because I just moved forward and I'm going to try to take people down and I don't know, just be fearless. And it's going to be great because they can't just run away anymore, which it genuinely is very amazing because it's been my biggest frustration. And at seminars, people ask me, oh, how do you stop people from walking backwards? And I'm like, yeah, I guess you have to have a wall, I guess, because I don't have the answer. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. If anyone even wrestles, I'm sure there will be a couple of people who will wrestle, but I feel extremely confident that I will be able to pretty much out wrestle everyone. This is just, I have to be this confident. I have to like believe in myself. I have great teammates. I'm going to be wrestling with lots of really good people and prep for it. And obviously doing all the other stuff, but in the wrestling world, I feel pretty confident.
And when it comes to some of the people that have been officially announced, it seems like the leg locks are going to be playing such a big part. We had a Misfits European spot locked in by Paul Ardilla. We got Levi Jones-Leary heading off for the Australasia Misfits team. So who are some of the training partners that you're getting to work with that are leveling up your leg lock defense?
Man, a lot of people. Like I said, I split time between Montreal and Daisy Fresh. Obviously, Daisy Fresh, everyone is really good at leg locks. Obviously, there's couch. I do mostly like a lot of positional training. TriStar, they have really good leg lockers with Faraz Sahabi is the head coach there. He's a black belt under John. So I've just done so many leg lock rounds, especially since at trials I had lost to Mike Perez via Aoki lock. And that was a little over a year ago. And I've just put such a major focus on defending legs. And like I said, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm gonna go out there, do my best. And if someone tries to leg lock me and they get it, freaking good for them. But I don't think it's gonna be quite as easy as someone might think it's gonna be. Just because I'm putting a lot of time and effort into that too.
And you mentioned your run at the ADCC West Coast Trials when you placed third, incredible stuff. And then also CJI versus ADCC weekend kind of put the competition up and made it possible for you to compete in the 2024 World Championship. So tell me about your experience at ADCC.
It was good. I felt very, very grateful and I guess it's toxic because it was a bit, I don't know. I'm happy that I was able to compete. I'm happy that Craig did what he did because it gave someone like me, someone like Max, opportunities to compete at ADCC. And I think that there's nothing to lose when you compete at big events and face big names, right? Like if I lose, it's like it doesn't really matter because no one expects me to win. So I expect me to win. So I love the chance to compete against good guys. That's why I say yes anytime someone asks me for something big. And ADCC gave me that opportunity, and it was super stoked. And I felt like I didn't win, but I showed a lot of heart in the match with Felipe, and I did my best. And I feel like even if I get my butt beat in another match, I'll show heart in every match. And so I won big matches, so I was very happy.
Yeah, and that highlight reel slam that you did, I feel like that went completely viral. Is that something that you practiced, or was that an in the moment thing?
No, yeah, I have no idea. I was just like I like double legs, and I do like I said, I do a lot of situational rounds. So like the kipping escape, I'm very hard to hold from mount, and Felipe's hips got a little bit high, so I just did the kipping escape. And as I like kicked him away, he like started to run after me with like his hands up, and I was just like fuck it, like grab the legs, and he put me in a guillotine, and I don't know. I study a lot, and I was like, okay, ADCC rules, guillotine, I'm allowed to slam. So I think in CJI, the rules are the same, right? Like if you get put in a submission, you're allowed to slam out of the submission, I believe. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty strong. Felipe's not too big. So when he had my neck, I was like, whatever, I'm losing right now. So, let's try to drive him through. And I was able to score, and I was extremely happy. I was just a bit annoyed with my performance after that, but I'm happy it happened. It gave me a lot of opportunities. It's honestly that one little clip has, been the reason for most of these seminars that I'm doing. I've done like 60 seminars since ADCC, and it's like I didn't even win a match, right? So it shows you the power of some virality.
Yeah, and you mentioned the rules. They have not been officially announced for CJI, but I'm assuming that with the Craig and Gable super fight, they're not going to be able to outlaw. Let's hop into the roster that you guys are bringing in, because this is a stacked Daisy Fresh team. Under 66 kilograms. We'll start there. Max Hanson, what do you have to say about your boy?
Max is amazing. He's also another Canadian guy. It's funny, Daisy Fresh could also be called Team Canada with the amount of guys that have some affiliation to Canada with Dante, me, and Max. He's amazing. He just competed against like some 270-pound black belt in Ohio. He competes every single weekend. He's super dangerous. He's really good, really, really nice guy too. So I think one of the coolest things is that I don't know how many 66s are used to just competing, especially in Nogi, against really big guys and winning and submitting them. But I think Max is someone people will probably underestimate against big guys. But if you actually know him, you'll know that he's definitely not a weakling. So he's amazing. He's a scary grappler, and I think if you know that to be true too.
And tell me about under 88, Jacob Couch.
Jacob's amazing. He's super good. I mean, everyone knows him for his leg locks, but he's amazing at triangles. He's amazing at rear naked chokes. He's super hard to submit, to pass, and he's really mean and really gritty. I think you could say the same about a lot of the people on the Daisy Fresh team. Is it's like a very gritty team. But one of the bad parts about when we say gritty, people think not technical. I don't think that quite to be true. Couch is awesome. He's one of my favorite people to train with. He's probably one of the people that I train with the most whenever I go do my camps at Daisy Fresh. Uh, I'm grateful to have a partner who's big enough to where I can actually train passing, leg locks, and he wrestles a lot with me too. Funny enough, and yeah, he's just an absolute dog.
And while we have time, I want to get your take on when you made a post, and it was kind of like a Gordon Ryan call out, no?
Well, I didn't mean to, but I said something stupid in an interview. Someone asked me, "What do I think about the word scrimmage wrestling?" And I said, "I think." They said, "What do you think about Gordon Ryan saying scrimmage wrestling?" And I said, "I think Gordon's weird for saying scrimmage wrestling." And I genuinely, I didn't think it was an insult. I thought, okay, I'm like using the word weird loosely. And then he attacked me and said, "Remember when I beat you in 2021? I went and visited, no, 20, sorry, early 2022. I went and visited Big Dan because he's a friend of mine, and I went to go train with him. Mind you, I've been training jujitsu for 8 months at the time that I visited this gym." And then I rolled with Gordon. I did a 30-minute round with Gordon. Obviously, everyone knows how that would go. Um, and then, yeah, fast forward, Gordon sees a clip from this podcast. Then Gordon goes off and is like, "Remember when I like kicked your ass for 30 minutes in a Nogi Jiu-Jitsu round?" And I was like, "Okay, bro, like whatever. I trained for 8 months for sure. Like you should be able to." But then he said, like, "That's why you suck. You couldn't even wrestle Division 1." And I was like, "All right, or if I suck at wrestling, there's one very easy way to figure it out, and it's to have a wrestling match." And he never responded. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to him, but he clearly has a very short fuse. I didn't think saying he was weird was that big of a stab, but whatever. I don't even know. I don't care. I don't have beef with the guy, but I said my piece. He didn't respond. I didn't attack his jujitsu, but he attacked me for a wording. "Oh, you're weird for saying scrimmage instead of scramble." He made it very, very deep. And I was like, okay, man, like whatever. Like it's very easy to throw around that people suck because they're not Gordon, but also when you start to talk about the world of wrestling and you have zero wins in wrestling, then it's like a basketball player telling like a Olympic level tennis player that they're horrible at tennis. You're like, come on, man, like it doesn't make any sense. And his ego is, I guess, bruised. But at the same time, I'll admit I shouldn't have said he was weird. I don't know. I was speaking very loosely, but he attacked me. I did not attack him back. I gave him an honest challenge. I was like, "Yep, you said my wrestling was bad. Whatever. Like, we can handle this in one way. Whatever. I know I can't beat him in jujitsu. Never said I could. But he's very manly, right? So I'm like, well, let's stop talking on the internet, and let's just let's handle it, right? And I wasn't trying to be offensive. I don't try to beef with people in jujitsu. I think it's ridiculous. But of course, he finds a reason, to get offended, and so that's the story.
Well, yeah, Gordon can definitely stay in his lane in terms of stating his opinion on a wrestling, but that's such an interesting background to know. When it comes to the Daisy Fresh team, what do you think is your guys' route to victory?
I think there's a lot of snipers on the team. I'm definitely I mean, I know I'm the weakest link as far as submissions go, but I also think I have my own strengths that are going to help in very specific matches. But I mean, Max, Dante, Couch, Pixley, like they're snipers, and so I think the you're gonna need your snipers to snipe, and you're gonna need a couple people to play strategically. Like I just competed in a quintet recently, a pretty big one in Canada, where like lots of the best teams came in, and it was really the difference maker. It wasn't. I would say necessarily the best team didn't actually win, but strategically, guys were able to take certain players out. And I wouldn't say by stalling, but just getting through the rounds without getting submitted. And then, one submission, depending on the matchup, can make the biggest difference, right? So I think you have to have guys who can not get submitted, and then you need at least one or two guys who can really, I don't know, really find one. I don't. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that there's going to be anyone who runs through a whole team. I don't think it's going to be possible. I think it's much harder said than done. If it happens, that's insane. Like that would be crazy just because of who the teams are.
That would be absolutely insane if someone did run a whole squad. I mean, we've seen some crazy things happen, but at
Yeah.
this level, the elite of elite, that's definitely going to be tough. Uh, I definitely think that it is so awesome that you guys are sticking with the Daisy Fresh team. You guys aren't doing any
Yeah.
wild card aspects. So tell me about the self belief in you guys' self, but also the belief that Keith has in you that kind of infuses this awesome camaraderie between you all.
Yeah, I mean, we all know each other. All train together. It's amazing. And me being like the newest member, I guess I joined almost 2 years ago. They're just great guys, and Heath is amazing. He's a general. He's the type of guy when you're feeling like crap, he's gonna tell you you're the best in the world, and he's gonna make you feel like. And uh, he. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone else, but Heath gives me confidence, and then people like Pixley give me confidence because I don't know if you interview Pixley or not, but he's unintentionally very motivational. Um, so it's very fun to be around those people, and I think it's like a group of killers who all believe in themselves, and all of us to some extent have been highly successful at some point, whether it's in jiu-jitsu or wrestling. And so I think you just have a group of people who believe in themselves, and then you have a coach and Heath who is extremely personable, easy to believe in, and he treats us all like equals. And that's why I love it. I think it's going to be a fun team to watch. I think we're exciting. I think we have lots of personalities, and I think it's going to be great.
I definitely think that Daisy Fresh is the dark horse that a lot of people in the Thomas and Mac Arena are going to be cheering for. Thank you so much, Brandon. We'll see you in August.